Morning. Live stream, MADtrading. I'm your host, MADtrader. A face for radio and a voice for silent film, as always. Listen, I'm going to just stick it straight on to the trading platform. You can watch what I'm doing if you wish. If anyone does join the stream, say hi on YouTube, or stick a comment in any of the other mediums that I use for you to get in touch with me. It might be a bit jittery. The voice might be a bit strange because I am doing quite a lot of back testing as well. But the stream health looks good. I'll post here. I'll probably go quiet. Just turn my mic off. I've got my lovely pot noodle and some fizzy stuff to drink whilst I'm replying to certain emails and whatnot. But if you have got any questions about what I'm doing on the hourly or the daily, just give me a shout and we'll have a look. See. Speak to you in a bit if anyone bothers their ring to join. Have a good one. Just whilst I'm on here, if anyone's watching this back later on, I'm looking at this screen that you can see me flapping my cursor around on. But just off on another screen, I've got my MT4 open, so I'll be placing any trades on there. But I will mark it up on these charts, just for anyone that's following along. Might also better hear some weird audio. It's all free off of YouTube. It's just so that it breaks up the silence a little bit. just for clarity, if anyone is watching, even live or watching it back later, I also use TradingView. I'll have this 3-line strike indicator on TradingView, along with some other bits and bobs. I use a different EMA or moving average on there. So on the hourly, on the pound yen, it's come up with a 3-line strike south. They're not always correct, but you know, at least 50% of the time they are. So I've placed a pending order to go short when it reaches this 16076, stops at 16160 and profits at 15991, just below there. If it does breach this super trend line, which I don't really need, but if it were to breach that super trend line, then I'll probably just leave it to run to 261 or further, but we'll see. At the minute it's still in Bollinger Bands, which if you've done any research online, what tends to happen is if there's a breach of the Bollinger Band, it continues on up or down depending on where the Bollinger Band is, only to a certain area. If there's a massive breach of the Bollinger, it springs back to the midline, so that's when you would look at taking profits if you've gotten in south up there, or if you've gone long from this candle, which I wouldn't advise. You would put your stops below this candle here, and you might still be in for a little bit of profit. Anyway, just let you know I've opened up a trade on MT4 through 5% as well, through one of my funded accounts, and we'll see what happens there. Let me put you back to the music. So those of you that are following along, demo only, the daily engulfing strategy, I did notice that we hadn't taken this trade here on EuroCAD. So looking back on my MT4, we didn't, because there's a trend line up here. So part of the when not to take a trade is, if way back here, November time, if we'd have put this trend line up, let's say we put it up here and it touched it again, that would have been a good reason to go short. Not long on this green candle, but the next engulfing candle, let's see if there is one. Not really. There's one there that might have made 261. Let's have a look. See, probably would have. That one there, that one there. Go short 261. Yeah, it would have smacked it on this one over here. I don't always mark up these charts. Sometimes I use pro real time and it doesn't carry over. Anyway, that would have been a good one. There's no resistance line before below hand, but now we can see the 200s coming down, and we have a cross of the 200 here. That's wouldn't have been in. That's a short. You would have been in and stopped out, and that's a long, and you'd still be long now on the 9200 crossover. We wouldn't have gone long on this one because it's so close to this resistance line. If it breaks through and becomes support, then yes, if we find another engulfing candle on the daily, then it would be good to go long. There's nothing for a while yet. The next one's up here somewhere. In fact, I might as well put that on now. Where's my there it is. Next one is up here. 1, 2, 3. Does it hit all 3? Yes, it does. So the next one would be over here. So if it breaches this here, and then the next engulfing candle might take it up to here. So as long as on that engulfing candle there's space, and when I say space, excuse me, what I mean is when you draw your mad fib, remember 0, 100 and 261 is all you really need. If the support resistance line is above or away from the 261, take the trade. If it's below that, so if it's not likely to make the 261, then don't bother taking the trade. It could be, and I only work off statistics, we know this, statistically it doesn't work out in my favour that often. So I tend to stay away from trades that are they've got to break past a support line to get to my take profit, and it's 9 times out of 10, no, 7 out of 10, it will touch that support line and bounce away. Yes, the 3rd, 4th, 5th time it touches it, that's a good indicator. It is going to breach it, but it might make a wick down, take me out, and then continue on. So I'm not going to get into the trade on this one based on that engulfing candle, because it's so close to this support line or resistance line. Sorry. So just to update anybody who's wondering why I haven't gotten into that trade, that's why. I have a remote viewer, someone who's connected to my screen, well, my computer, fun enough, who's remotely watching me, and they're trying to learn whilst they're not at work and haven't got kids, which is great. I'm not teaching this person how to lose money. I'm just showing this person how I lose my money. And they've just asked me a question on WhatsApp. Yep. So, why did I get into the GJ? So, let me get comfy. Oh, by the way, let me know if you can hear me. I know James can hear me because he's connected to my computer. Anyway, let me know if you can hear me on YouTube, or if not, or if it's all out of sync. Anyway, right, so why did I get into the GJ? So, we are at a daily bit of resistance. If we look at this candle here on the daily, and we draw it over, and we just take in the candle wick, it engulfs, so it takes in this wick, the next wick, some other wicks touch it, this wick wicks into it, this wick wicks into it, this wick has wicked into it. It might continue on up, but the likelihood is, because it's getting towards the 200 on the daily, that it might be falling over. We have a high, we have a lower low from what we can see. We then have a lower high here. We've then got a lower low. Then we've got a lower high. Then we've got an equal low. And now we're retesting, in my eyes, just my assessment, we're retesting this resistance area, this resistance box here, just below the 200, with this wick. Now it might all go wrong. It might just zoom straight through. And that's fine. That's okay. No biggie. We just look for the next trade. And we do have a crossover, and a crossover on the MACD. We have decreasing true range, so decreasing price movement over time. And we do have we do have equal highs on the stochastic. This looks like it might fall over at some stage. But again, we don't use the stochastic to trade from. We just use it for confluence. So on the daily, my bias is down because it's below the 200 anyway. So here on the hourly, we've got a high point on the price, and we have a high point on the MACD and a high point on the stochastic. Then we have a higher high price-wise, and it's in that box for the dailies, in this green box here. But we've got a lower high. That's why I've just drawn those lines. We've got a lower high on the MACD and a lower high ever so slightly, but a lower high on the stochastic. We've got red histograms, the MACD is pointing downwards. And, price hasn't been able to get back up to those prices. Same as here, hasn't been able to get back up to those prices for a while. So it makes sense to me that this might be falling over soon. It might not happen this hour. Might happen in a couple of hours, so I might have to extend these, bring them over a bit. But that's the thing behind trading. If we have a set of mechanical rules, for instance, an engulfing candle on a daily above the 200, go long. Set your take profit, set your stop loss, walk away. Here on the hourly, I'm using a slightly different variation of that, and if you saw me draw this up, it's these past three candles, the past 3 hours. If you look at the 3 hourly, it doesn't look like an engulfing candle, does it? It's not. But the price does suggest that this wick is a reversal candle, and we should see a red histogram on the MACD, with the MACD crossing over and the stochastic falling over. I don't trade on the 3 hourly. So on the hourly, oh, that's too big for my massive screens. On the hourly, we could be seeing the starts of, and it's not the top, I didn't get the top, but we could be seeing the starts of a rollover. And I've only gone 1-to-1, so 300 risk, 300 profit. That's all I'm after, that's all I want. From this anyway, and that'll go towards a couple of Burger Kings, I'm sure. There are other fast food joints available. But on top of that, it's just if you see the technicals and the fundamentals all fitting, then you see more than one reason to go into that trade. So we have divergence on the price compared to two indicators. Then what's wrong with going long? And as long as there's a stop above where you think it's going to go, if you're out, you're out. You lose the money or you make the money. That's it. So I hope that clarifies or clears up a few things as to why I'm in GJ short on the 1 hour, even though it might breach past. You never know. I'll keep you posted. Oh yeah, whilst I'm bathing, just a quick listen. I don't think you can hear that music anyway, which is probably a good thing. It was, what have I done here? Why am I tying myself up in stupid cables? It is the era of Bluetooth. I need to get a Bluetooth headset. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, oil. Right, so I popped a little thing on Facebook and out on a couple of other channels about this energy companies are paying people to not use energy. Now, I think that's a bit daft myself. Although it's freezing, people, how about this? We're going to pay you £3 a kilowatt to not turn your heating on. Right, you are. We'll all sit here. I think it's like a 2 hour. If I read that right, was it like 2 hours for certain people and 2 hours? Anyway, whatever it is. Sit there using no heating and as little electricity as possible. I think it's weird. In this day and age, you need to heat your house. You need to keep your kids warm. You need to turn the kettle on, and you've got to watch telly. It's, Netflix or Amazon Prime or Google Plus, or not Google Plus, Disney Plus, whatever. And you've got to turn your computer on and trade. So not using energy between certain times and being paid for it, I think is, if it's a necessity, then crack on. But if you don't have to, then just do what you would normally do and don't turn your heating on full blast. Just have it so that it keeps you warm, not roasty, not like you're in the Bahamas or something. Which is why I've got a little pad next to me to look at certain trades while I'm looking at oil. Now, on a video yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I had mentioned that I was long, oil. It's reached my take profit. I've taken that. That profit. I think it's going to fall back over again. That's personal thought. It might not. It might continue on up to this resistance here and then fall over. Or it could breach it. It can only go one way. It can only go up or down. The sideways thing is still up and down, just not very high and not very low. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so if people aren't going to be using their energy as much and they're being paid to not do it, or paid to do that, the thought is that, if there's not a lot of energy being used and there's not a lot of gas being burnt, or there's not a lot of nuclear being used, or there's not a lot of something being used, no, you are right. But that doesn't necessarily mean the price will fall over. It might mean the price will continue on up. Excuse me. It could mean that because there's windfall tax that's coming up, if you've forgotten about that certain energy companies will say, hold on a minute, we need to hold back our energy supply so we can increase the cost of it to the wholesalers. Remember, it's the wholesalers that not the wholesalers, it's the end-using company, EDF or Green Energy or whatever it is that you use, that you pay. They have to pay the wholesalers. The wholesalers buy it direct from, people like BP, Shell, and all that good stuff. And they're on contracts, to supply certain amounts. So if they restrict that, they slow that down, the price of oil and gas and renewables, in fact, everything will go up. But if people aren't using it and they want to get more money in to pay for this windfall tax, they might open up the taps, send more out for us to use, and we pay less for it, but subconsciously that's a daft idea because we're going to use more. If it costs less per kilowatt hour now, like if they said, we're going to half it, bang, smack, it's half priced from tomorrow onwards. We're not going to say, that's great, I'll use half as much. No, we're going to turn it up because it costs half as much. And the more we use, the more that they'll use, the more they'll have to produce, the more that they can charge for it in the end. So it's a vicious circle. It's a cycle of monetary gains, obviously. So you would have thought that if we're using less and they want us to use less, that price might fall over. Not always the case. It might continue on up, but I'm out because it's just too volatile at the minute for me. My thoughts and theories on it is that, you know, I've had a nice run on oil from way back when, certainly from the downfall. Where was that? Let me go on to the weekly. Here we go. So from the dizzy heights of, that's not even it. Where is it? From the dizzy heights of, here we go, up here in 2008. Massive fall over. That probably would not happen again unless the banking system collapses once more. Slow incline, faff about for a bit, big dip down, and then we just dip down a little bit further and a little bit further. And you can see that the decline of oil and gas is steadily constant. Does that make sense? We've got a really high bit there. We've got another lower high here. We've got a dip above, but it didn't really stay there. So we've got another lower high here. And we have lower lows, and lower lows. If we were to draw a line here, that would indicate it's, you know, it's on its way down and out. Which is right, you know, fossil fuels, dead dinosaur juice and dinosaur farts probably aren't the best way to sustain our planet, but you still need dinosaur juice and dinosaur farts for lots of other things. You can't run a windmill without grease. Grease is made with lots of chemicals, some of which are dragged out from the ground containing dinosaur juice. It's not just dinosaur juice, it's planktons and all sorts of life, as well as animal mineral, as well as plant minerals, animal minerals and other bits and bobs are in it as well. I'm not a geologist, but it's been on a good run. I think it might pop up a little bit more, but I don't think it's going to make the dizzying heights of 120 quid a barrel again, not for oil. Yeah, so oil and gas, or any energy companies. Let's look at let's have a look at some companies whilst we're here. I'm still waiting for, hold on a minute, still waiting for the GJ to pop down. So let's have a look at some shares. Country of UK, because that's where me living. Let's go that one and mid 250s. So first one I get to that's energy company, we'll have a look. See BP. Right, so BP have had weirdly a steady up and down. I can't remember when it was, but it was a massive spill, wasn't there? And they had to pay billions, but they make billions. So I don't know when that would be. But the price hasn't really shot away from itself too far. You could argue that, you know, this has been a nice run up and now we need to have a fall over. So since 2020, we need a nice fall over to bring it back into the mean, the midline, the average price. So around about wherever the 200 is would be the average price. But on the daily, we are very much above the 200, and that would have been a very good entry. The 9200 is good for companies, just to let you know. But even if you didn't do the 9200, if we go down to a 4-hourly chart and you do not you, do a engulfing candle, if you were to find one, because again, see, the web one is weird. On Pro Real Time and MT4, the candles are slightly different, you know, and I would go with one or the other, not chop and change. But anyway, here's an 8 o'clock Wednesday. There's no wick, but it engulfs this candle, which yes is a Tuesday, but you know, not always a lot of trading on a Tuesday. Let's have a look, see when was that? Monday, Tuesday, a little bit of trading there. Anyway, makes no difference. It's an engulfing candle, it's above the 200 on the 4 hourly, probably above the 200 on the daily as well. If you'd have gone long on there, you'd be quids in, wouldn't you? You'd have just made enough for a Tesla, probably. Just, buy it at 448, sell it at whatever you want. Sell it now at 482. You still made 40.8 share, which is ridiculous. But anyway, these aren't going to care whether there's dinosaur juice in the ground or not. They don't just do oil and gas; they do lots and lots of other things. BP, Shell, Amco. Let's have a look. See if Centrica, who you don't know who they are, have a quick look on Google. Their share price fluctuates because of many reasons, not just the price of the thing they're trying to suck out of the ground or sell. It can be for any reason. Geopolitical, could be natural, could be disaster-wide, could be something to do with space. Because remember, most of these fuels are for vehicular use, but it's also for industry. It's also for space, agriculture, aviation, big one. Aviation, there's hundreds of thousands of planes that need fuel. All these eco warriors that are saying, oh yeah, no, we need to kill the car, everyone go to battery. That's great, love it. How are you going to then fly to your Greta Thunberg? How are you then going to fly from wherever it is you are now to the next meeting, the next summit meeting, in a plane that doesn't have any fuel? I personally, I'm not going to jump in a plane that's electric only. Certainly not for something that's longer than an hour anyway. It's going to cost an absolute fortune for a starter, but second of all, lightning strike on an electric plane, not entirely sure that has been thoroughly debugged. Anyway, I digress. So, energies and energy companies don't follow a normal playbook. Yes, way back in the, let me go back to the dailies, way back in the 20s, 2020. Where is it? Oh, I can't see it. January 2020. So there was a big slump. I think we know why, don't we? Went down to 20 odd quid a barrel. There was lots of people saying, oh, they were getting paid to hold or to buy it. Yeah, that might be true. That wasn't oil. That wasn't Brent crude. That was probably sweet American. But anyway, big old slump down. And since here, if you weren't buying here on these dips, then you weren't into trading. But since here, it's just been steadily going up, hasn't it? And it's made massive gains. And now it's just finding its feet. It might break below these support areas. It's certainly below the 200 on the daily. It might break below these support areas, and it might be looking to fall over to go south further. If you're one of those people that's going to be looking at trading oil or gas, follow a plan, get a strategy, and just do your back testing. Have a think about whether you should be getting into this trade or not. Me, I'm out. I've taken my cash, regardless of where it gets to now, and I will look at getting back into a trade. I'll either go long or I'll go short. Here on the hourly, on the hourly we look at the 4 hourly, but on the 4 hourly, because the daily is below the 200, I'm only looking for shorts when it gets below the 200. But I wouldn't be bothered now, because that's when price and the 9 get below the 200, there's not enough space for my trade to continue unless I'm looking at a long term. For a long term short trade, yes, there would be space between the price now and the next closest, what I have deemed the next closest resistance line, or support line, sorry. Here on the 4 hourly, maybe it's not, once it crosses the 200, there's only going to be a small space for profit potential. Unless we have, another catastrophic bunch of information, and it decides, no, yeah, we're all going to fall over, and everyone can can try and suck their own oil out of the ground or something definitely. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that one up. Looks as though we've got tweezer tops on GJ, certainly on my MT4 over here. So on the hourly tweezer tops we do. They're not, see on my MT4 they are exactly the same height. But on here they are not. As you can see, this candle is above this candle, this wick should I say, is above this wick. Still, that's a sign that things might fall over. It might not. It might continue on up. You only know when it happens. Anyway, I'll shut up again. I'll leave you to it. I'm going to turn that music off. I don't think it's being used or heard anyway. So just make your own noise, hum, whistle, do whatever it is you're going to do. And if you want, give me a shout and I'll answer any questions that you might have. Stream will be turning off at about 3:30 today. For the pure and simple fact is that I have a bunch of kids coming back from school at 4 and I need to get some things sorted for them as well as their friend that's coming around as well. So I've got to lock things away and make sure that my kids don't break any more stuff. Anyway, give us a shout if you want. Speak to you in a minute. Pardon you. Right, I'm back. Not that anyone's here. Anyway, give us a shout if you want anything. You know the score. Speak to you in a minute. Righty ho. So, no one's joined on the live stream. Don't blame me. I've got better things to do as well. If you have got any questions, if you watch this back later on, where's that cat gone? Yeah, if you've got any questions later on, once you've watched it back, just get in touch with me. Let me know. I'll answer them as best I can. I'll be doing a daily engulfing candle check later on. Try and join me for that. Be around about 9:30 ish. Need to get my head down today. Done loads, so I'm gonna be getting some sleeps early tonight. Have a good rest of your day, and hopefully I'll see someone on the next live YouTube. Speak to you in a bit. Laters. Love you.